Here we are with round 2 action from Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. Friday Night Magic, standard is the format. And this is your pairing. On the left, Joseph Deal. He got the bye in round 1. He's playing a very interesting Bant Delver deck, which uses Delver Secret Snapcaster Mage, Geist of St. Trapped, and Quirion Dryad. And then a giant pile of card drawing, charms, and counter magic. He's up against Brandon Hart, who's playing Bant Hexproof, like I said earlier. Amison's Pilgrims and Abundant Growth to fix mana, landing creatures like Fencing Ace, Invisible Stalker, Silverblade Paladin, and Geist of St. Traff. Pump them up with Ethereal Armor, Spectral Flight, and the like, and pound in for a lot of damage very, very early. So it should be interesting to see how this works. Joseph does have a lot of counter magic. He's playing Spell Rupture, which is a very interesting choice. It works very well with Quirion Dryad, as it's basically a mana leak where they have to pay equal to the power of your biggest creature. So Joseph mulling down to 6. Brandon thinking about his, and looks like he's also pitching back his opener. So sending both of these back here in our round 2 feature match. Brandon loading up a fresh 6 Star City Games Dragon Sleeves. Joseph opting for the either blue or purple. I don't know because I'm very bad with colors. Let's see what we think about this one. Turn 1, tapped Breeding Pool from Brandon, followed by a Delver of Secrets from Joseph. It's going to be foil, and he takes 2 damage off of his untapped Hallowed Fountain. Sunpetal Grove follow-up from Brandon. Let's see what creature we're going to see land now. It is an Invisible Stalker. 1/1 Hexproof. You can't block it. It's a pain in your backside. Delver does not flip. I play-tested with Joseph on Wednesday night. Probably played 5-6 different games in that Delver. He missed maybe 20 Delver activations. Quirion Dryad comes down for Joseph. That thing is going to get very big very quick. This is just an old-fashioned race. If Joseph can get some pressure down and then leave up counter magic, he can interact with Brandon's deck on the stack, but very difficult to stop the hexproof creatures if you don't catch them before they get into the attack phase. Cavern Soul's coming down, naming what? Cavern 1 Human. There is a Near Heath Pilgrim, 2/1 Soul Bond, and when bonded, both creatures have lifelink. They're not doing the life totals for me, so that's annoying. But I think I can read Joseph's writing on his manual notepad. Delver doesn't flip yet again. Offers the trade with the Pilgrim. Brandon not going to take it. Brandon down to 19. So just disregard the life counter on the bottom of the screen. We'll update my life totals to the top manually. So here is Ethereal Armor. Does it resolve? I know that Joseph only plays 1 Negate and 1 Dissipate, I think. His main counter magic is Spell Rupture. So Amison's Pilgrim comes down. Invisible Stalker is going to be a 3/3 because of the 2 enchantments he has. So knocks Joseph down to 14. And Brandon going to go up to 22. Quirion Dryad. Joseph says, no, I want my dice. He's very particular about that. I think it's funny. Azorius Charm in turn, pumping the Quirion Dryad. We see him draw a Sun Petal Grove. But it's going to be very difficult with an unflipped Delver to race this life-linking, unblockable, invisible Stalker. So Brandon piling in, chooses not to block, which I agree with. That lifelink is very important here. So the Delver is going to block and trade with the Nearheath Pilgrim, barring any kind of shenanigans. Everything else is going to get in. Brandon's going to gain some more life. Up to 23. And another Nearheath Pilgrim. Uncounterable off of Cavern, paired with the Invisible Stalker. So Joseph untaps, plays a Snapcaster Mage just as a dude, flashing back his Azorius Charm. And he's going to serve in 4/4 Quirion Dryad, 2/1 Snapcaster Mage, dropping Brandon 17. But again, tough to deal with the lifelink from the Nearheath Pilgrim. I know that when this deck hit kind of the mainstream at the Grand Prix that was in, I think it was in Atlantic City. Maybe it was in yeah, so what's happening here? We got Unsummon on the Nearheath Pilgrim, Ranger's Guile to protect it, but Joseph responds with Spell Rupture on the Ranger's Guile. Since his Quirion Dryad is a 6/6, he'd have to pay 6 for it to land. And there's yet another Nearheath Pilgrim, so a 3... well, it's the one he bounced, I should say. It's kind of obvious. But no life gain. Joseph is down, however, to 6. Tough to deal with the hexproof unblockable creature. Joseph does have 3 lands in hand. So Brandon untaps. Joseph dead to a lot of cards. Down to 3, as Brandon does not add to his board. Brandon at 19, however, going to be very difficult for Joseph to come back from that. Serves in with everybody. Chump block the Quirion Dryad, take 2. Joseph has a counterspell and 3 lands in his hand. So that is the end of that game. What I was saying about earlier, as these guys move on to sideboards, what I was saying earlier is that when this deck, I forget which Grand Prix it was, but when this deck kind of hit the big time, when John Stern used it to win whatever Grand Prix that was. The hot tech was that one of the Bant hexproof decks had, and I think it was his, had the Nearheath Pilgrims in the sideboard, which are basically a mirror breaker. The lifelink is super relevant and super effective at solving that problem, because it's basically just an old-fashioned race. But Brandon, playing them in his main deck, that might be the common strategy these days. I'm not familiar enough with the typical lists to be able to tell you if that is in fact a common occurrence or some kind of sweet one-upsmanship from Brandon. But he does take the first game here. And I'm going to diddle around here on the internet. Obviously no one has won quickly, otherwise they would be sitting in that chair right there. But I am going over to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic, and posting about our weekly giveaway. I mentioned it before in passing. I'll mention it now again. You want to win your own playset of rock, paper, scissors cards. You need to watch us every week. You need to participate in our giveaway every week. You need to go to our Facebook page. So let's talk about it. Let's bring up the little thing that Cliff Markham made for me. It is Cliff Markham's birthday today. He of Cyclonic Riff infamy. So happy birthday to him. Let's get my stupid self off the screen here so we can try and give you these magic cards. So like I said, don't roll dice, don't flip coins. These things are outmoded. Get with the 21st century and start your games like a boss with rock, paper, scissors cards. If you don't have your own playset, like I said, we give them away every week, and here's how you participate. You go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic, or you go to ZachSellsMagic.com. It will redirect you there. You might as well bookmark it. Check it for daily content as well as sweet giveaways. Then you're going to look for the post I just made, which says we're giving away magic cards. If you like that post, that's an entry. If you share that post on your own timeline, that's another entry. If you comment on that post, that's another entry. And it also shows up in my Twitter feed at ZachSellsMagic on Twitter. Remember, Zach with an H. And if you retweet that tweet, you're also entered. So that's 4 separate ways you can enter every week. The only caveat is you must like the Facebook page and be following me on Twitter should your name be drawn to be eligible to win. So make sure you like our page and follow me on Twitter. Not only does it give you a chance to win some sweet stuff, but it helps us spread the word about our silly little web broadcast. Doesn't cost you a red cent and is super fun. So here's the interesting thing about these rock, paper, scissors cards. People always ask me, like, do you buy them? Do you have them? Like, how many sets do you have? Have you cornered the market on them? I actually had a considerable number of them because I'd collected them before we started doing this. And when I decided it was a fun little aside thing to do to give away every week, I think they're fun. I think they're fun, and the feedback I've gotten over the 8 months that we've been doing this is that other people think they're fun as well. Ran out of my supply after a few months, bought some more from online, ran out of that supply a few weeks ago, so went online to buy some more to give away, and most major online retailers are actually sold out of them, which I think is hilarious. So I don't know if we've somehow started a little bug that's spread around or not, but I know that last time I bought them, there were several hundred copies available on some sites, and now it's kind of slim picking. So they're getting harder to come by. The price has gone up slightly since I first started giving them away. Are they worth a ton of money? Absolutely not, but they are super fun. So if you want to win your own play sets, make sure to do all of that. Question in the chat about does Joseph have any way of dealing with the invisible stalker? I think in the sideboard he has access to verdicts. I don't know how many he has, but I'm almost positive. Like I said, I did play test with him earlier in the week. I do not have his deck list exactly, but I do think that he has an access to some number of Supreme Verdicts. So he should have at least some game in the sideboarded match. And again, he is playing a Delver deck. As we all know, various iterations of Delver decks can get very aggro, very quick. Turn 1 Delver that flips, 7-turn clock by itself, backed up with, you play turn 1 Delver, it flips, your Spell Rupture is now good for basically a mana leak. That's a very difficult start for any deck to beat, let alone Brandon's specific build. Yeah, we're getting confirmation from Mr. Mr. Taggio. I'm sure I butchered that. Confirming that it was John Stern in Atlantic City, where the Bant deck kind of blew up. I think it was all Bant finals, or at least a Bant semifinals. I think Josh Utter-Layton also did very well in that tournament with Bant as well. But let's go ahead and switch back here. Wholesale 2. Round 2 action. Brandon did get game 1 if you're just joining us. Joseph going to be on the play with his Bant Delver deck. So we see a Quirion Dryad, a Feeling of Dread. The Feeling of Dread is a very interesting card to leave in because Feeling of Dread is not very good against a bunch of hexproof creatures. So we'll see if he keeps this one. I think he's going to. He does have Thought Scour for turn 1 into a Dryad on turn 2. And Brandon sending his opening 7 back for a fresh 6. Looks like the chat might be working a little bit better, or at least knock on wood, we hope it's working a little bit better. That's half the fun of doing this, is so I can interact with all our faithful fans, talk about some Magic. was going to say. Hey, Adam. I was about ready to run out there because Brandon he'd piled out 7 cards for his mulligan.
Mm-hmm.
So I was about ready to knock you over to go tell him not to draw the...
I'm glad you didn't, because I mean...
Well, you're a fragile porcelain doll.
I am very
I'm now
dainty.
joined by the local legend, Adam Vickers. How'd you do in round 2?
I'm pretty, I won.
You pretty? You won.
I won. Ooh, you got a pretty computer, too.
Well, I borrowed Brandon Hart's computer because I think one of the biggest problems I'm running into is we see Joseph cycle a Thought Scour, milling a Delver, and a Snapcaster, which is not what you want to do with the Thought Scour, I think, as a pro tip for all you at home. I did borrow Brandon Hart's laptop. As you can see, I'm running our version of the stream, the Twitch stream on that one.
Okay.
And that hopefully will keep my computer from overheating and crashing.
Yeah.
It's one of my pro tips when running a stream. Don't have the oldest ass computer possible. And try to put
everything.
Yeah, and as you see in the chat, that people are excited because apparently the Twitch chat just now started working.
Oh!
And that was like a Twitch-wide thing.
No, I assume he's not playing. Joseph's not playing the list that was on Star City.
I think he's
playing
like
a couple of months ago.
I don't know. Could possibly Sam Black have introduced a new list or something? Because I think someone mentioned that.
Not to my knowledge.
I don't know. He's playing something with tweaks. So piling in just for 1 here.
Which, I mean, with every deck list, there's only so many cards. I mean, that you have to have so many cards, and it seems pretty good.
Yeah, going to tap the Avacyn's Pilgrim during his upkeep. Pro play there to basically Stone Rain him for a turn. Untapped. The art on the new Breeding Pool looks so much like butt, in my opinion. Spectral Flight and a Rancor on an unblockable, untargetable Invisible Stalker. He's going to get in for 5.
It seems pretty good.
Yeah, this deck is really annoying to play against.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. But, and Joseph has these Feeling of Dread still in his deck. Those are main boards cards.
Yeah, they're not going to do too much.
Yeah. I think he's probably realizing that right now. Delver comes down. Just so everyone is aware, every card in Joseph's deck that isn't a land or a Quirion Dryad activates the Quirion Dryad.
And activates the Delver pretty well now. Never mind.
RC Unlimited. Yep. RC Unlimited camera shake. We did remodel the store, which I talked about earlier. So we have a new feature match table. Which has its pros and cons. The con here is that the camera is sitting on the actual table, so now when Joseph blasts the table, it shakes the camera and makes it look like an earthquake. Near Heath Pilgrim, man. Near Heath Pilgrim and Ethereal Armor, so it was 5 base, now it's going to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4 more, so 9. 9 mana.
He's taking them, did he not? He didn't have the...
He can't.
2 white, yeah.
A lot of takebacks here.
A lot of takesy backs.
Yeah. I think Brandon's regretting putting the Abundant Growth on the one land that produces white mana.
Yeah, maybe.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 should be 9, I think. Dropping Joseph to 2. Seems like a good play. And then an Invisible Stalker. Let's see if the Delver flips.
Seems like a very interactive game Wizards have
made
with Hexproof.
Hey, Hexproof is the worst mechanic ever. Boom. Joseph very happy because that's the first time in 2 games his Delver's flipped. I played with that boy a million times on Wednesday, just play testing, and his Delver flipped like less than half the time. I mean,
nice. That's fun.
Yeah, it's like the worst.
Oh yeah, it is. It's like the greatest feeling in the world. Where you just sit there for a 1/1 for 1 that could, do something.
I think Joseph is only out as like 1 or 2 sideboarded Supreme Verdicts. I guess he could possibly get rid of the Ethereal Armor or something. I don't know, Jonathan Wright's playing Parceline, which is basically like Tranquility Effect.
Yeah, because it's all enchantments, isn't it? Yeah. It's a good one. And then he gains 2 life.
Because Invisible Stalker is not very good without some stuff on it.
When he's Voltron.
It's a 20-turn clock.
Yeah.
The Staff of Nin.
Very annoying.
Was it you or Garrett? Oh, it was Garrett a few weeks ago saying that Staff of Nin is the worst Planeswalker.
I think he's probably the best. Because he can deal damage to other Planeswalkers. Better than Tybalt.
So Joseph is desperately trying to figure out if he has any outs here at all. He has an Azorius Charm that he can use to bounce the blocker. That's not going to be any good.
No.
He can lifelink his guys, though, go up to 9 life, but that's not good enough.
I mean,
Lifelink triggering, so 6, 7, 8, 9. Should go up to 11, I think.
it'd be enough to buy him another turn.
Assuming that Brandon doesn't have any business. Near Heath Pilgrim. He knew he had it there. So it wasn't a matter of whether or not Brandon was dead this turn. It's just a matter of whether or not Joseph was dead. Joseph goes down to 1. Brandon goes up to 19. It's a pretty good swing.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good for Brandon. $18. I'm not sure that math works out, but it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Close enough.
Simic Charm will bounce, won't it?
Yeah, but what's it gonna?
He could bounce the blocker, but Brandon's at 19.
He can't.
It's not hexproof. The blocker isn't.
I know, but isn't the invisible sucker unblockable?
Yes, he's dead.
Yeah, so yeah.
But if he had if for instance he had Simic Charm plus Azorius Charm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's not.
No, he's dead. He can do 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10. He can do 10 damage here. He can just scoop.
Yeah.
It's almost an unwinnable matchup for Joseph, honestly. He just has to play turn 1 Delver, flip it, have Spell Rupture up, and just counter
Spell
everything.
Rupture is really good.
In this deck, it's really, really good.
I've been thinking about doing some bug aggro, and that card is pretty good in it.
Yeah, it's very good when you have a 3-power, 1-drop.
Yeah. Well, even, I don't think a lot of people expect it.
No, it's very hard. I didn't expect it all. He blew me out with it during testing, and then every subsequent game I played around it. Every time. So even if you don't have it, it's
I'd probably if I didn't need it the first game and then they played around it the second, I'd probably just be happy if I sided them out because they're still playing. You have them.
Yep. I'm going to step out real quick here. We still got 20 minutes left in the round. I'm going to step out and see if I can find a game 3.
Another one.
Yep.
Oh, that was it.
That's game 2. Yeah, it's kind of brutal because it's Supreme Verdict or no, really.
Yeah, if you have it or not.
Well, he plays the Pilgrim's main. In game 1, that played out same like game 1. If you didn't have the Pilgrim, you could have raced him. But you can't beat 6 to 9 point.
No, not in one swoop like that.
Feel free to chat with those guys.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh man, we got picture-in-picture now. I just now noticed it. It's moving up in the world. I guess that is the bad thing about hexproof, that you can't target it. And there's not really good spot removal now, period, to deal with it, and then once you give it, very uninactive. Zach's looking for another match for a game 3, bringing maybe even a game 2. Because I have 20 minutes, and that's quite a while to still have in there.
So here's the problem when you only have 20 people.
Nobody else.
Lots of people are done.
I like the picture-in-picture now.
It's fun. I think it's better than having just nothing going on. You are not Brandon Hart. So you may have heard me. We've got 18 minutes left in the round, but we don't really because everybody's already in game 3, and we're not going to be waiting for Plus, Zach Vilianco's not here, so we don't have to worry about going to time.
Ugh.
We kid because we love. Zach is very... I almost put your name as Zach Vilianco because I was...
You could.
So, Adam, did you come to the Star City Games Invitational Qualifier?
Yeah.
how did you do?
I had my thumb up my butt.
Outside of that, how did you do in the Magic tournament?
I had my thumb up my butt because I played. I don't think I wanted to be here that day.
So you played accordingly?
I played accordingly.
Yeah. So, of course, we're talking about, if you've watched the stream before, you're more than aware of this because I've literally beat it through your consciousness over the last 3 months. But for those of you who don't, the shop hosted a Star City Games Invitational qualifier last weekend, and it's a big deal for us.
Yeah.
It's a cash tournament. It's a $25 entry fee standard event, and we used the stream to promote it. Facebook, everything. Everybody knew about it.
Yeah, it was very successful.
And unfortunately, I couldn't make it last weekend due to something that came up. But 52 people came out. When you went out to when you were coming to the store that day for the event, did you think there was going to be 52 people here?
I figured around 40.
Yeah, 40 was my goal.
Yeah.
If we got to 40, I thought it was perfect. And I think, give or take, you need about 30 people for one of those events to be, break even.
Yeah, I think so.
And then when I was actually out of town, and I was actually out of town and out of cell phone service. So when I got back, in cell phone service, I got, a million texts and stuff that said, there's 52 people here. And I think, and there's probably another 10 regulars that didn't come. Just from scheduling conflicts, because it was Easter weekend, which is a good thing for some people and difficult for other people. But anyway, 52 people showed up. We had people coming in from Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Kentucky. Our winner was the Seth Anderson, who I believe is from Marietta, Ohio. He came down. Second place was Mike Robinson from. He plays down in Huntington. I believe he's from Ashland.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, we had 2 or 3 Lost Legion guys finish in the top 8. I know Brandon Gibbs did, and I know Brandon Hart did as well. But everything I've been told was it was a great tournament.
Yeah. For what I stayed for, it was a good.
It was an early day for
you.
Yeah,
1 and 2, and I left.
What were you playing? Were you playing the Ooze deck?
Yeah, I was playing Ooze.
Just bad matchups?
No, I was the bad matchup.
Seriously
was.
Bad matchup with yourself.
I punted quite a bit.
I mean, you can't. Sometimes you don't got it. Sometimes.
No, I didn't have it that day.
But so anyway, that turned out really great. Like I said, the store did actually remodel. So on Friday, this is on Saturday, last Saturday. So on Friday all day, and then through FNM, as I understand it, constantly doing construction in the back here. Like I said, there's photos of it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic. But some before and after shots. There were tons of. They took out 2 walls and moved a ton of stuff and basically opened up the store. I don't know about your opinion, but I think it's so much better. Of course, it's amazing how just even the extra 5 or 10 feet really makes a difference. It's still a little bit cluttered right now as they try and figure out what to do with all of that used to be storage, and now it's game space. So they're figuring that out. But so now we can comfortably probably host 75, 80 people in here now.
So.
And the main thing is we're gonna have another one. So we're looking for 2 or 3 months in advance. Same like last time. We're gonna pick another date that really works, so we're not competing with Star City or a Classic or something like that. And there's gonna be another cash tournament here at Lost Legion. I want to talk with JB to see if we can possibly, if we get X number of people, probably increase the prize payout and stuff like that. Because this was very profitable for the store, and basically all that money went into the remodel, so they're basically net even. But the next one, we can hopefully have another event. I know some people weren't able to make it. People from on the stream who wanted to make the trip couldn't make it. So look forward to that in the future. We'll announce about that. What else is going on? Is Max out there?
No, maybe. I know that he got into a little fender bender.
He was signed up for round 1, but then maybe
I don't think he had something to do.
Maybe
somebody hit his car outside.
Well, that's exciting.
On the way, So
that's very exciting. Well, bad news for that. But I was going to talk to you about, because I think you and Max and maybe Yen, you were qualified for World Magic Cup qualifier, right?
Yeah.
And so I knew at one point you were kind of debating going to DC for that. Ultimately, obviously, decided not to go, unless you're going to get up at the crack of dawn and go there right after this or whatever.
Oh, I didn't know when it was. Apparently
it's tomorrow.
Apparently no, I'm not doing that.
It's the lowest EV tournament because it's a winner take all,
cool.
4 or 5.
Yeah, it's just cool that I was qualified.
Yes, it is very cool.
And I would just like to have. If they sent me a letter in the mail, I think that would be the coolest thing. Just be here's your invitation. But I don't think they did that. I just got on a website and hoped I was the Adam Vickers.
There are
qualified.
It's funny because they post online. Of course, we're talking about the World Magic Cup, which is the. So they've done away with Old Worlds and old team competition, and so now they have the World Magic Cup qualifiers, which are 3 individual tournaments or 1 tournament with 3 slots at the smaller countries. But basically, you have to win this tournament to get on the team, and then you 3 plus whoever has the most pro points that year, you're the new team, and you go and play in the World Magic Cup. Which actually was kind of neat. I mean, I watched it. I thought the format was kind of dumb. We watched a lot of Innistrad blocks that I could really care less about, and it was very high variance too. It was like you just like lose one match and you're out for the entire thing. But you did qualify. It is in Washington D.C. tomorrow. I don't know if they're all this weekend. I think it's just D.C. and then Midwest.
I think they're pretty much all. No, I think the only one for the United States was in D.C., wasn't it?
Well, the big what they're supposed to do, and I apologize, I'm not as familiar with it because I just haven't looked. I just really cared about Magic last 2 weeks. But I think last year they did 3. They did one. I think they're doing it because I know Channel Fireball is sponsoring one. Okay. So they're doing one in like L.A. or San Diego. They're doing one in D.C. and they're doing one, I'm sure, in the Midwest, St. Louis, Chicago, or something like that. And the idea being that they can be regional, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a long drive for not so. I mean,
I just think
drawing
it'd be cool
very
just
thin.
because
That's why I wish that they would bring states back because not states but nationals back because nationals was like just to qualify for nationals was like it just. I mean, I never did, but I mean, there was multiple times when I started playing. I was like, man, I really want to qualify for nationals, and I had no pretentious ideas about making it on the team or winning those things. But it's fun to participate in that. You've earned the right to be there. It's the best kind of thing. You really don't have that anymore now because you have tons of GPs, but those are just like anybody with $40 can go to GP.
That.
Pro tours are, I mean, we're not making a pro tour.
Well, no, I mean, I think that was the whole point of making it Planeswalker points too, was to have things like the World Cup qualifiers and stuff like that. And I think if they could like expand a little bit more into that, like maybe like a regional, like not like like a regionals that you qualify because of your Planeswalker points, and then just kind of like work that way up.
Right. Yeah, it's I don't know. They've done a lot of interesting things in the last few months or last year, I guess, or more than a year, with the way they've restructured organized play. That like things I really like and things I hate. Like I hate Planeswalker points because like I don't play FNMs. So like there's really no point in me. I'm like never going to have a buy. I'm never going to like qualify for anything.
Yeah, but it keep with the DCI you had like not a whole lot of people, but you did have that few people that were just like they got their DCI to such a level. And then they just set on it.
Yeah.
And they didn't play. I mean, you could do online.
It was an imperfect. They're both imperfect systems, and I don't know I don't know if one's better than the other. But they clearly realized with Planeswalker points that they had screwed it up when they first put it in because people were just playing like 3 FNMs a night and just like grinding all these points out, and it was like that's not what it was supposed to reward. But you're right, it does encourage people to play. But then they also doubled the number of Grand Prix, which I think is the best possible thing they could have done because Grand Prix are fun. And they're fun public events. A lot of people, we've mentioned it before in the stream, a lot of people think, I'm not going to the Grand Prix because I don't want to spend $40. I don't want to play in the event. I'm going to lose. Well, don't play in the event.
It's still fun.
You go to the Grand Prix, you buy from vendors, you sell cards to vendors, you trade, you play in infinite side events. We went to Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, 2 weekends ago. Well, actually 2 weeks ago today. Ian Nolte went with us. He played in the main event. It did not so great, but enjoyed himself.
Yeah.
Bob Sperry went from down Huntington. The same kind of thing. He was like 4-3 drop or something like that. But I went, didn't play a single game of competitive Magic. Just sold a bunch of cards that I had been meaning to get rid of.
Yeah.
Did a lot of trading and whatnot. And then Garrett went. Garrett only played side events, and Garrett won over the course of 3 days, like 2 boxes.
Yeah, so that's perfectly fine. And I mean, they're always in nice cities, so you can lead.
We
go for the trip.
Yeah, we went to Permane Brothers and ate a giant sandwich.
Yeah,
that's delicious, Yeah, like you say, you go to these other places, you make into a little weekend, a little vacation, have a good time. So that was fun. I did mention before, and we talked about it before, but another one of the Lost Legion contingent didn't go up in our car, but Dave Snow went up by himself and just, I don't know, casually with 2 rounds to go, only needed to win one to draw into the top 8.
So.
But then, unfortunately, he did go 1-2 in his final draft and finished, I think, 42nd or 48th, but he did finish top 64 in cash in that event.
Cool.
Well, it's like a massive event. It's limited, so it's like super skill intensive.
Because, I mean, even like when I went to Grand Prix Columbus years ago, I think the best part of the tournament was we went to the zoo, like the second day, or like because nobody made like day 2, and we went to the zoo, and that's probably the best part of the whole trip.
So this is an impromptu ad
The Columbus Zoo.
for the Columbus Zoo as well as Grand Prix in general.
Yeah.
Oh, more importantly, you saw this because I know you're all over both my Twitter and Facebook. But I think you might actually reply to my Twitters more than anybody else, actually.
I think I know what you're going to talk about. I'm
About
very
what?
jealous of it.
About how I just happened to meet and have a fun conversation with Wizards' own Walking the Plains host, Nathan Holt.
You got a storm crew.
Well, I tried to win a Storm Crow. That's still in the process. But I did meet Nathan Holt. He does host a web series, Walking the Plains, if you've seen that. Well, it was fun because, like, I had the reason, like I've said numerous times before, like, Nathan Holt is literally the only Magic celebrity that I ever cared to meet. I really don't care to meet any of the players. I'm sure they'd be fun to talk to and nice guys and stuff like that. But I don't know. I really like those videos. Like,
Yeah,
I think they're like.
He did the ones on Gathering Magic before Walk the Plains too, didn't he?
No, that's Richard Castle.
Okay.
He's the one who does like the documentaries ones.
Yeah.
Nathan Holt and his partner Sean Corman, I believe his name, or Kornhauser or something. I can't remember his other name, but he's the guy who does the film work. They made an impromptu, well, it's not impromptu, but independent documentary, basically, of Pro Tour Philadelphia, back when it was modern.
Okay, yeah.
And then that got, like, it was just called a Magic the Gathering tournament. They put it on YouTube, and it went, like, kind of viral amongst the Magic community. And it was just hilarious. It was like a documentary explaining to them. They're casual players, you know. They just said they live in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So they went to the event, and you know, that was, you know, they got a press pass so they could go and stuff like that. And it was just, like, hilarious. And then Wizards said, hey, we're going to hire you. So they go to all the major events.
Fun.
Yeah, you know, I think it's really good because they're very informative for new players and stuff like that. It's fun. They're high production value. They're good to watch. You should watch them. I've linked to them all the time on our Facebook page. I'll put some up on the recap. But yeah, so Nathan Holt was going to be there because he's from Philadelphia. So he was going to go there and play. So but I had one of his. He had like a little promotion on his Twitter page to win Stormcrow because that's his thing, Stormcrows. And I won. And then when he was there, I said, well, since you're going to send me free stuff, let me give you some free stuff. So busted out some rock paper scissors, as well as astronaut coupon. Are you familiar with that card?
You have to get a drink for your opponent.
Yeah, he had posted some funny thing on his Facebook page, and I just
Because it was like the best draft hand.
It's the best opening hand of Magic,
yeah.
which is like basically a convoluted set of power cards and novelty cards from Unhinged that make your opponent get you like 7 free drinks. So that's pretty good. But yeah, we got to him. He was very nice. Also met. He was actually playing at the time Commander with Eric Klug, who does all and he just posted an interesting thing on, I'll make a link to that too, an interesting, so Eric Klug does like card alterations. He's probably, I would argue,
He's the most well-known.
He's the most well-known for sure, and arguably in the top 3 or 5 in terms of skill-wise. He just posted an interesting thing on Gathering Magic. A step-by-step process of him altering a Black Lotus is gorgeous. And it's an animated GIF, so like you see the entire process. Oh, it's amazing. So interesting to meet those guys there at the GP as well as have a good time. Jonathan went. He was part of a group that, now you went to Morgantown the night before and then went up on Saturday for side events, but you all won like a ton of stuff too, didn't you? You won a couple boxes or something?
2 boxes, pretty nice.
So what did he say about the rock, paper, scissors?
Honestly, he didn't say that much. He just immediately put them on the table, took a picture, and tweeted it. And he was very excited about them. And I think it's very unfortunate because if I'm not mistaken, he put on his Facebook that I think he left his suitcase in Pittsburgh. I think he lost it. And it had like all of his EDH decks and stuff in it. So I already plan to send him replacements when I get
his EDH deck.
Oh, I don't. I tons of. It's actually interesting because that's one of those things that you can tell how much people appreciate him because he posted that on Facebook and he mentioned he's like I'm really kind of like. He's like, I'm kind of ashamed to like post about something like silly like this, but like obviously any of the stuff that you've had since you were a kid or stuff like that, you have a lot. But people were like, I'll give you whatever you need. So I don't know if he's done that or not, but
I think like
I even have an extra astronaut's coupon, so I'll send that to him.
I would like to
Mike
meet
Flores.
him,
You like Mike
but
Flores?
Mike Flores is probably
You are the. Are you? Is it safe to say that you are the president of the Mike Flores fan club?
in Charleston, West
Virginia chapter.
I am the president of the the chapter
Chapel
235.
The chapel of the chapter. What was the other thing I was going to put? Walk the Plains and then Eric Klug. Yeah.
Recap.
That's my recap post. My notes. Dave Snow was giving me crap 2 weeks ago about my notes. He said, "Why don't you put that in your notes?" It's funny. Good times. Jonathan, did you win?
I did.
You were playing against Alec Myers. It's a mirror match, right?
Oh man, I lost to him. Damn.
Yeah, which is funny. Which he avenged you.
He did.
Yeah, seven folds. All right,
Guys
so
back in after we talked about it.
so which is funny because before the tournament, it was just funny because I thought this would be over relatively quickly. No, it's taking the full like 15 minutes.
Oh, why not?
We talked about earlier. These guys were playtesting. Alec and Jonathan played like 3 or 4 games while I sat there, and Jonathan just lost all of them.
One.
And then apparently he was saving his run good for the.
I told him that I kind of want to play Flash, but I don't have the guys of St. Trash for the sideboard against the mirror since there's 4 or 5 people, and apparently my man put them back in his deck. He's like, oh, you don't need them. You don't need them. Apparently he did.
Me?
Yeah.
Was I saying that? Well, I mean, most of the lists don't run them, but I'm tired of losing to Esper and stuff like that.
Quick shout out to stream viewer Lumberjack Beard, who says he's a first-time viewer from Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln, Nebraska, home of the infamous GP Hoth. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Grand Prix Hoth, they called it when the Grand Prix was in fact in Lincoln, and it was like super snowy. That was actually a really good. That's a good one to go back and watch. That was one of the very first modern Grand Prix. That's when Louis Scott Vargas and Jerry Thompson tore things up with the Blue-White Tron, and it was won by Agro Loam. Andrew Cunha almost won with Malira Pod. It was a really good tournament to watch, and GG's Live covered it. So it's all like on YouTube. GG's Live of GP Lincoln. All kinds of notes. Got so many notes. Why am I making notes? Because I put a recap post on our Facebook page after every week. Fun way to talk, check in on all the cool things we talk about. Months ago, JB, who is our beloved shop manager, gave me a bunch of promotional foils to give away for the stream. I'm now down to these 4. 2 Zathra Gargan and 2 Staffenden. The worst Planeswalker. So I'm basically down to 2 Staffenden, because nobody wants this Gargan.
You don't know.
A few weeks ago.
Somebody might have lost one in their EDH deck. You might.
That's not even good in EDH. What does that card even do? Zathra's Petrification.
Yeah, they can attack.
Wow, that's great.
It turns them into like what, artifact based?
And it only costs 6 mana, and it's a 3/6.
Turns them to stone.
Yeah,
so for only 9 mana plus a turn, you can make one creature into a.
Tell me how that's bad. Tell me. You can't.
You could tap 4 swamps and cast Damnation. No.
Or mutilate.
No.
But you just want them there.
Yeah. You might want to save your own hidden horror
because if you Damnation,
abyssal persecutor.
You don't need a Damnation because you have a 3/6 that can win you the game.
They can't block through that. We all know that nobody in Commander plays any creatures that are larger than 5 power.
In Standard, that kills Thragtusk. And then you know what you do? Make their creature token.
We basically just broke the format, I think.
So, yeah.
Gorgon Tribal, this in Nebraska.
You can blink it with Resto.
Yeah, you can. And it does nothing. And it has Death Touch. You forgot that. It has
it's not
Death
under
Touch.
the battlefield.
It has Death Touch.
That's awful, actually.
The art is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It has Death Touch.
There's like a little guy. There's like a little guy on a horse back there.
Yeah. Do you know why? He's scared. Turned to stone.
I think that's it, actually.
Gorgons don't fool around.
Nope.
We've officially reached time in the round, according to my informal clock. Remember, my clock, of course, for entertainment purposes only.
One time, though.
One time it was perfect. It was perfect.
I'm surprised that's not like the
Boom!
Comment. Oh, man,
Anthony just coming in, tearing everything up.
That could be the comment under the video on YouTube. This time clock, perfect. The one time. Not for novelty purposes.
No.
We're going to play against Brett.
I guess. And Adam Vickers plays Joseph Deal.
On what?
Whatever table. There's no.
I know what he's playing because I watched the video.
Oh my goodness. Alright.
Move down the table.
Alright. So we're going to move on into round 3 coverage. I'm going to step outside and see if I can find a feature match for you. And then we'll be right back.